Okay, so for my last lesson plan, which I think was supposed to be lesson plan number 3, was I decided to do this learning objective, which was students will create a plan for minimizing their impact on the environment, since that was what the main, since that was where most of the standards were, that's what most of the standards were covering that was left. So um, I think a large part of my class would actually kind of be the devotion at the beginning. I would really want to set a foundation for them to talk about like the Christian focus on it. So it would just be me like talking to them about it from the Bible and giving them that more of like developing the attitude towards like this is something that is really important and applying that biblical principles that will cover that standard there. And then the rest of the lesson is, where is it? Here it is, over here. This is like how the biome one was. So they'll be researching all class period and coming up with 5 ways that they will personally help take care of their environment and be responsible. And so I have it listed here, and this would be listed out on the board, which is why I don't have any slides or anything for them, because I would just write it up for them. And along with an example of what I would do, because I would be doing this with them. So they would first research some ways people can personally reduce, reuse, recycle. Then they've got to compile the resources. And since they're doing this step by step, they're going to be putting it in that format so I can see how they are researching and what all of their resources is that they looked up. Then they're going to take some of them and make another list about 5 long, which I have written out here. And so they'll have to, for each item, they'll have to say why it's personally attainable, how they would go about completing it, how they reduce their impact. And just to include some social media, this was for one of my other classes, I needed to use some social media part in one of my projects. So here I wanted to include, as one of their items, they can include a way of how to incorporate social media into this effort of like being responsible. And so my example there was like sharing the hashtag Team Seas if they want to donate to this specific kind of cause there. Or they can post a video about what they're doing, or, things like that. So yeah, once they are done, then they have to put their plan into action. And this is the log that they'll be filling out. They would be given a lot more room, but this is more of a sample of what they would get. So they'd have to list their ways of impact again. Since this is what they're keeping and using, they would be turning their other things in that day, but they would be using this. And on day number 1, whenever they start, they just list what they're doing. Like, if it's like the shower example, if they are taking shorter showers, then they would have to say like every day that they take a shorter shower, what they did to help as their impact. And the time, like if it's the time of day or like things like that, so they can just record it and it would be there. Or if it was like recycling once a week, then they would put it on like day 7 and day 14 and things like that. So it doesn't have to be every day, but this is kind of like a log for them to fill out. And then of course they need to put some photos or evidence of what they're doing for each activity. And then afterwards, when we all come back together, they would be doing a gallery walk, because this is a fun way of presenting to each other what they did and to encourage each other. And so yeah, that is my lesson plan.